be good. All right. Hey, you are listening to the Laughing Through Life podcast. I'm your host, Tony Freakin Fonte. How you doing? All right, I have an amazing guest on here. We've already been talking for a little bit, and I wish I was recording already because we've had a lot of awesome truths and inspiration in here. But I have the amazing Nathalie Timmerman from Germany. She's joining us from Germany over here. So it's evening time over there by the time I'm recording this, but I'm super happy to have her on. We had an amazing conversation already, and I was like, damn it, I should have been recording some of this already. But we're happy to have her on. She is a positive psychology coach, if you really want to put a term coach on there. But really what she's doing is she takes a holistic approach to helping people live their best life. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal because we have many different ways that aren't holistic that I think create more barriers. And I think it's awesome what you're doing. And when I listened to your podcast on Noelle Strain's Enlightened Conversation, I was like, man, I got to have her on. It's super amazing. So I'm super happy and honored to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us in the evening time where you're at right now. And if you're listening to this in Germany. So all the way across the world, super happy to have you here. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So I really only have a couple questions that I ask when I interview. And one's just to really get it going, and one's at the end that's in line with the podcast Laughing Through Life. Other than that, it's just like we've been doing, just having a conversation where you inspire me, I inspire you, and we're just throwing truths out there to help people wherever they are in their journey. So the first question is really share with us how you got into the positive psychology, your journey, your own personal journey, even on the spiritual realm of how you got to where you got to. Doing what you do now, helping people holistically live their best damn life. Because there are so many people who are struggling right now.
Yes.
And you see it in governments. You see it in just so much fear and stress and frustration. And the whole point of the Laughing Through Life is helping people break those cycles so they can freaking literally have fun in life. Like, stop being so, and you said it early before we actually started recording, like so many people are so uptight right now. It's like they're walking around with their ass cheeks clenched and they get like cramps and they're like, my hips are out. Well, yeah, unclench. But you're so tense.
That's it. Like, it's not that worth it.
Yes. It's like, relax. I'm like, you'll have more, your muscles won't be as tense. You won't have as many health issues or any health issues for that matter, because I'm a believer that any physical ailment, it comes from an emotional trauma that we have stored down and haven't dealt with. And when we release all that, we find healing and pure happiness in our body. But so many people, they forgot how to have fun. They don't believe they can have fun because of all these stories that they're bought into, or it's fleeting fun because they're trying to find something outside of them. Right. And then when that time's gone, then they're back to, oh shit, I'm by myself again. And then they're back to their mind and their body. And they're just like, blah. And I was that guy for years. Like I was this, I shared this with you, and I know most of you, if you listen to these podcasts from the beginning, know that I was an angry, insecure, extremely toxic, and at times a narcissistic guy. And for some of you, you're like, how the hell are you okay with admitting that you're a narcissist? Well, because I'm not that guy anymore, and you got to own it. And I was that guy. It's okay. So share with us how you got to where you are now, doing what you're doing, changing people's lives.
Yes. Well, changing people's lives, that sounds great. I hope I'm doing that, doing my best. Well, basically, okay, where do I start? I've always been into helping people. That's always been my personality. That's always kind of where I found joy. But realizing now that I've actually worked on myself, it was also a way for me to fulfill my needs and fit my insecurities, right? As we all do often. So I think I've always been in that kind of, like, my hobbies and everything as a child were very aligned with helping people. And the first step into the psychology direction I did with my bachelor's. So I studied business psychology. But back then I was like, oh, I'm going to go into like marketing, advertising, that whole bit of psychology, found it super interesting. Finished and was like, okay, but what do I actually do with my life now? I don't really know. So I kind of bumbled around a little bit, and then I got into a relationship that was the first the first time that someone treated me really, really badly. And it was like, just, I realized after, like, he was a narcissist for sure. And I was so committed to helping him and kind of overcoming his insecurities, and gave my all to this guy. And literally, like, we only dated for 3 months, and then he broke up with me. And I was like this big. It was just like, he hit into every single insecurity I had, and I literally did not know who I was by the end of it. So a 3-month relationship, I think for a good half a year, I was grieving for that relationship. And I had people just telling me, like, why are you doing this? Like, do you not see that you don't deserve that you deserve so much better? And this was actually, I think, the point where then finally I started questioning myself and my beliefs and how I viewed myself. And it was the first time in my life, like at this time in my life, a lot of other stuff happened, and I was very reliant on my social network, my family, my friends. I had just moved cities, like, because some stuff happened in my family, and it was, for the first time in my life, I was alone. Like, there was literally no one that I felt I could really talk to get me through this. So it was the first time in my life I had to build myself up by myself. And this is how I discovered it. And after that, I went into personal training. So I worked in a gym quite a long time. Well, yeah, actually not that long. But that's where the coaching started, because even as a personal trainer, like, you're confronted with people's issues and limiting beliefs, like, all the time, and you're just like pulling them out of their comfort zone. So that was my first kind of touch point with coaching. And 1.5 years after I kind of graduated, I still didn't really know what to do. So I was like, okay, maybe I could do like a master's. And I'd already written my bachelor thesis about like a combination of nutrition, physical exercise, and positive psychology to improve your well-being. And I thought, oh, positive psychology is something that really interests me. I really wanted to study something that I felt passionate about. And I found a master's degree in London, which was combined positive psychology and coaching psychology. I was like, yes, sounds good. It was just 1 year. I'm not really into academics. It bores me a bit. So I was like, 1 year I can do. That's okay. That seems manageable. So quite spontaneously, I moved to London, did my master's, got into another relationship pretty much straight away that was, looking back, 100% codependent relationship. We've just fit our insecurities perfectly. And so this is how I kind of got into the whole coaching field. But I always had the holistic approach, but it didn't feel authentic for the longest time. And which is why, although I've had my practice for, I think, over 3 years, I never put the time and effort in to really develop it, because subconsciously it was just not aligned with who I am. And I still had lessons to learn in order to really give to people in a way that makes sense and that is valuable. And now this relationship ended August last year, and it was kind of, I mean, he was a great guy in many, many ways, but because of the dynamic between us, like, it was just meant to kind of break apart at some point. And it was a big, big lesson. And I think after this relationship ended, it's the first time in my life where I actually fully focused on myself, stopped to compromise for other people, because I'm a people pleaser, or I was for the longest time of my life. And that's what we do, right? We compromise ourselves. We put our needs like second. And that's when I just said, like, I got to stop with this. Like, I'm just, it's not working. So for the past months, I've just been investing in myself, in my growth, in my development massively. And I've actually, for the first time, like, putting my hands up, practiced what I preach. And it's been the most transformational thing ever. And now for the first time, my coaching practice actually feels really aligned and authentic to me, and people can see that and feel that. So yeah, very long story, not so short.
No, that's great, because I'm learning more about you too, because you share some stuff
Yeah,
now that you didn't share on Noel's podcast.
yeah.
So I was learning a lot more, especially about the relationship piece. And now I'm going, well, shoot, you said so many dang things that I can like expound upon. But it was really amazing. Like when you had the guy that was a narcissist, right? Which is interesting that he broke up with you, because usually they try to break you down, but keep you there because they don't feel secure, right? So that's the whole reason they're doing that. So usually they don't leave the relationship, but they try to beat you down so you can't leave. So you're so weak, so they can keep controlling and manipulating you. Because guess what? I was one of those guys. Now I've been a narcissist in that relationship, and I've had that happen to me at the same time,
Yeah.
because I've had women to do that. So it's the same concept. But you were talking about, like, why is this happening to you? Why is this happening to me? Because it was your insecurities. And the reason why he broke you down is because because your energy, your vibrational energy was hitting and triggering his. And all he
Yeah.
was doing is speaking that back to you.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why he broke you down and making you feel like less. It's like, oh, he's saying what I already feel. How the hell is he doing that?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
how is he just like, he's saying how I feel, but then you were longing and grieving that relationship, because it's like, love is outside of me. And yeah, it's a shitty relationship, but I gotta have that. I gotta have it because
Yeah.
I have to have something, because if it goes, then I don't have love and I'm gonna be alone. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was that. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier as well, that realization. Like I always knew, not always, but in the last couple of years, that happiness really is something that fully comes from your inside. It has nothing to do with what's outside of you.
Mm.
But like now, after the last relationship ended, is the first time that I'm actually really living and realizing that. Because it was the same thing. I think what happened in both of my last relationships, it was I outgrew them. And it was kind of that I think both of them knew I would leave at some point, so they just leave. So they are not the ones being left. That's my theory. But
And it's like, I'm going to leave you before you leave me, because I got to be this man, which is the toxic piece of the side of it, right? The toxic masculinity, because because they're in that pain, which is okay.
yeah,
It's okay. It's okay that you outgrow them, right? And it's
yeah,
okay, because people are in our lives for a reason and a season. Some people can last forever, but it's got to be on the same realm of growth or close to it. Because if you're
exactly.
growing and they're not growing, then that's not benefiting you, because it's trying to tie you and pull you back down. And that includes family too, right? So,
Absolutely.
and people are like, oh no, you can't do that because it's family. The bullshit. I'm like, if you're toxic and it's okay, I'm just not going to come around as often. Or if it's too toxic, then I'm not coming around at all. It's okay, because family doesn't mean blood. I mean, it's people
Yeah.
who support you, who are pushing you up, and I mean, like, genuinely want you to win. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's about. And like your two exes, it's okay that they're narcissist or insecure. It's okay.
Yeah,
We got to get to the
absolutely.
point
I'm
where there's no
grateful.
judgment.
I'm so grateful. Like those two relationships have been my biggest teachers in life for sure. So I'm so insanely grateful for actually having had them. And like I said, like not everything is bad. Like I've had amazing times with both of them and I wouldn't want to miss them. But at the end of the day, both of them allowed me to wake up and realize my worth. Um, and they enabled me to do the work that I do now. And for that, I will be forever grateful. They allow me to fulfill my purpose. So who am I to complain, right?
And then when you took responsibility for, because you tracked it in your life for whatever reason, but for those purposes. So we say good or bad, right? And I finally got to this position. It took me forever to get here, that I don't think there's really a good or bad. That's duality here in this realm, in this dimension. But in the higher divine dimensions, there is no good or bad. There just is. And it's about getting that. And people who don't gather that is because they're not, it's hard to conceive. And I was there, I'm like, there's got to be good or bad. But what constitutes good or bad? It's our beliefs and
That's
our
our own
perceptions.
interpretation. Exactly. Like that's just what we make of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's not moral. Well, who says what's moral, what's not moral? Because, like, if you look at certain people to do things that we conceive bad, right? It's like they thought it was a good thing.
Yeah.
So there's no good or bad. There's a lesson in everything. And the part, and this is where now you're inspiring me really, really a lot in this piece of it. is when people realize
Good.
they take responsibility for their life, every single part of it, even the stuff that's out of their control, because at some point they have allowed that into their life, because we know that our outside world's a reflection of how we feel on the inside. It's a game. It's a movie. You know, I have the Tony freaking Fonte show. I say our life is a show, and all the people in it are just actors. And if we don't like a certain scene, we can recreate it.
Yeah,
We can write the
absolutely.
script. And
Yeah.
all these guys did for you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that, is they helped you see parts, and you kind of alluded to this. They helped you see parts of you that you needed to heal, and you finally woke up and said, whoa, 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 I don't deserve this, and I don't want this. I got to figure this out because I keep attracting this. Why the hell am I attracting this?
I don't have time for that bullshit. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm so happy. No, seriously, like it's exactly that. Like, I'm a firm believer in life will throw like the exact same thing at you until you've learned your lesson. I think I've learned it now. Let's hope. Let's hope so.
Well, I think you will be more aware of it if it does, because
I think so too.
you'll
I
have
think so.
tests. You'll have
Yeah.
tests to see,
Yeah.
are you sure you want this, or to see if you're going to go back to those patterns. Like, okay, they have some of what I'm looking for, but not everything. And I can sense this. And then,
Exactly.
but each thing is now you becoming aware of your own triggers. And okay, what's this? Is this a fear, or is this something else going
Yeah.
on? And the more that you get in tune with your truest self, your highest self, that you start feeling it more and more. I'm like, no, 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 yes, okay, this triggered me. Why? And you start asking, you continue to heal.
Yeah.
Everyone, everything, and you've talked about this, is here for our good.
Yeah.
When we say, oh, why does this shit keep happening to me? Well, that's victim. And some people listening may be like, well, that's just bullshit. That's okay. You can have that. That's your journey. I'm not judging, because I've been that guy too. But
Everyone has their own way, and
yeah,
some people take longer, some
yes,
people get it quicker, but everyone, I'm really so convinced that however your life is evolving and unfolding, that's exactly how it was meant to, because
absolutely.
it's just like you needed to learn something in that job that you actually didn't want to do, in that job that you lost, in that relationship that didn't work out the way you wanted to. Like, there's something to learn in every single situation in your life. Shift your perspective into looking for that, and your life is just
When you're
gonna
ready.
change. Yes, yes, when you're ready, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
there's times too that I've tried to force onto other people, like family mainly. It's like, man, I can tell
Mhm.
you're unhappy, you're suffering, but they're happy being unhappy. But it's
Yeah,
because I had this feeling of happiness. I'm like, I just want this for them. So then I'm suffering because I'm trying to force something, try to
yeah,
force their evolution.
yeah, it's not working. it's
And all
and
it
it's
does is
so
create more
important.
strife.
Yeah, yeah. It's so important. That's a big lesson I had to learn as well. Kind of detaching myself from that urge of wanting to help people to grow. It's like everyone is ready when they are ready, and that's okay. And for me, I can inspire by living my life the way I want to, or the way I consider it to be, um, a way that constantly makes me grow as a person. I
Yes.
can inspire by example, by living by example. But what they do with that is completely up to them. It's not my responsibility. Um, and they need that growth. So they need to do their own thing until they're ready. And so, yeah, but that was a big, big lesson for me as well, to be able to detach. But it was important for my own mental health, for
Yes.
sure.
And emotional health too. So it's, and the spiritual growth, which is all tied to all that too. But it's, and I love this. It's like, I got to continue to evolve and allow other people to evolve, but live my life in a way that's congruent with my truest self, because your energy is going to proceed. So you can act like it all you want, but your energy is going to say something else. It's not aligned. And the whole goal of evolution is continue to align with that truest self of who you are, which allows more abundance, more prosperity, more love, because that's who we are. Our truest sense is love. And people say that's, oh, that's so cliche, but I'm like, that is who the heck we are. If you
Yeah.
really want to go back to it, that's the evolution, is getting back and shedding the layers that are preventing that. And everything we experience is designed to help us do just that. So when we make a decision that we quote unquote say bad is bad, or a horrible decision that we have a consequence we don't like. It's still for our good. There's a lesson in it when we're ready. And some people in this lifetime, they won't. And that's okay, because they wanted to experience what they experienced that whole life, whether it's just shitty or halfway there. That's what they wanted. That's what they desired. Me, it took me 40 years to figure things out, really figuring things out. And that's okay. Some people do it sooner than that at a younger age. And that's okay. They can do that. But I love that you're like, I learned lessons from every single thing. And anything that shows up in our life is a lesson. Do you hear that, people listening? Everything's a lesson. Take it from Nathalie over here. Everything is a lesson. And yes, even when shit's falling apart, you can have fun just like we are right now. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I told you. I was warning you when we got on here. I said, I love to have fun and I'm going to be goofy.
That's okay. Like, I think there's few things in life more important than having fun, because that's like, from a spiritual or non-spiritual perspective. Like, I always kind of like to separate those two, because I know that I have a lot of followers that are not on the spiritual line, and everything that we say in the spiritual sense also counts in the non-spiritual sense. So if you believe in the law of attraction, keeping your vibes high and staying in that excitement and joy and love, those really positive emotions, it's absolutely essential to kind of attract what you want, right? But in a non-spiritual perspective as well, like, even if you're in a shitty situation, if you manage to kind of still laugh and focus on the good, and it will automatically, things will unfold in a completely different way because you interpret them differently. Like, your emotional reaction is so essential for the behavior that follows, the memory that you attach to it. So it's like, yeah, make the best of whatever happens in your life, right? Laugh through life, as you say, whenever you can. So
laugh your way to your best self. So I want to just challenge just for a second, because you said I try to keep things separate because I have followers, right?
Yeah.
But I would argue that you can't keep them separate, because everything is spiritual. Even on the truest sense, even if you're not saying spiritual stuff, everything is spiritual. So everything we experience in life has a spiritual context to it. Because it's all energy, and coming to us energetically, whether you believe it's spiritual or not, whether you believe in the law of attraction or not. But most people would say, oh, good vibes or whatever, which is spiritual.
It is. Yeah. But that's my hope. See, that is my hope, that even the people that don't believe in that stuff, like, at some point, they see those concepts, hear those concepts, see the proof that appears in their life, and then it'll be easier for them to be like, oh, actually, there might be something more. Like, there might be something energetic that I cannot grasp.
Yes.
So that's like I like to emphasize the fact, like, even if you don't believe in it yet or at all in your life, it still counts for you as well. So
it does. All it is a planting a seed. And the reason why I'm challenging on that, because I tried to do that, and it created more stress inside me.
Oh, absolutely.
Truly being me. And I think part of what it is that we do that, and at least this is true for me, and I'm sure people are listening, because otherwise I wouldn't be saying this right now, because I'm inclined to. There's going to be a lot of people listening to this that are in the same boat. The reason we try to keep them separate, because we want to make sure we're accepted and not rejected.
Exactly.
And when we finally get to the point saying, you know what, I have to do this. I have to, because it's not being true to who I am and how I'm supposed to show up. And it's still okay that you're there right where you're at, because I'm there too. I've been there, and I'm letting go more and more, right? But at some point we're going to evolve and say, you know what, it's all spiritual. I'm going to speak it. And those who really align with it are going to hear it. And those who are supposed to hear will hear it, and they'll resonate with my energy.
Yeah.
Because those are going to be the ones hearing your voice anyway, but we're trying to be anything and everything to everybody, and we can't. And I did that for years, and it's so stressful trying to reach people. It's not. It's like, those who are ready, even the ones who are away so far spiritually, when they are ready for something different, it'll show up in their world, right? Because this is their show. It'll show up, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, wait a minute. And it's about, but at the same time, continue doing what you're doing, because you're on your path, and I'm on my path. But I say, as we evolve, you're going to get more true to yourself and how your meanings are coming across. But it's just the same. Like, look at your evolution, where you've been. You're like, oh, mindset, and you're trying to use logic behind all of it, right? When we talked about here in the beginning, well, law of attraction, this and that, you were trying to put logic into it, but
Yeah.
you've evolved. Think of
Yeah.
the people that you're talking to. It's going to be similar.
Yeah.
So all
It's so funny. It's so funny because like when I was kind of thinking about, okay, so who are the people that I want to speak to? And obviously because I come from a very academic background, and as I mentioned in Noel's podcast, like I love science, I love facts, like science, like the hard, like research based stuff. I kind of decide, okay, so for me, like my brand, like who I am, what I coach, is not necessarily, I don't want to go too deep into the spiritual stuff. It's a pillar for sure. In my life, a very important one now. I know in other people's lives as well, but it's something that I didn't want to give too much attention to. But now everyone I'm attracting into my life is like super spiritual. Like all my close friends, like you, Noel's podcast, like you're the first two podcasts I've ever been on, and it's like both with that spiritual undertone. I'm like, that's like not how I imagined that to go, but it's so funny. Like maybe it actually is something that I need to consider more and put out there more. I don't know. We will see. But
there are
it's funny.
no coincidences, no
There are
mistakes.
absolutely no coincidences in life. That's for sure.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? There's no coincidences or mistakes. I mean, everything happens for a reason, for our good and in timing. So maybe it's just to keep your mind open. And who knows where we're going to go? Who knows where we're going to go? I can't tell you where we're going to go. You're going to go where you're supposed to go. But
Exactly.
But you said it's like, well, now here I am having this all around me. And it's interesting that all that's around you, but yet you're still here. And that's okay where you're at. Just like when we talked about people.
I'm still holding on.
Yeah, you're like me. You're holding on to that baggage. No, because it gets back to the people pleaser. I don't want to be a rejected and abandoned kind of thing, right? That, oh, I don't want to do this. So I got to please people because I want to be accepted and loved. And we got to get to the point where when we are stepping fully into our truth, and fully into who we truly are and how we're supposed to show up in the world. And even now is still, even if you're not 100% there, which we never will be until we get to the end of our life, but it's still helping you evolve to the next point of who you are. Because I've gotten so frustrated with things. I'm like, damn it, I thought I was supposed to be here. Now you're telling me I'm supposed to be here. And then I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm on my path. What? Now you want me over here? What the hell is that? I'm like, you said here. And I'm trying to hold on to what that identity is in that part versus evolving a lot more simply because we have this need and this attachment to suffering that we're supposed to suffer for whatever, whether it's religious dogma, whether it's non-religious dogma, whether it's past stuff. We have this need that we're supposed to suffer. And it's like, no, we don't have to.
That's stupid. It's so stupid, right? Like why? That's like what baffles me about us, like as a human species sometimes, like, why are we so dumb sometimes to actually like we seek suffering, which is insanely essential for our growth. There's no doubt about that. Like suffering and adversity is kind of there's that metaphor, like there's every seed has to grow like in the darkness and under the soil first before it breaks through, so that like outside of our comfort zone thing, like this is where we grow. So it's essential, but sometimes it's just like, I mean, this is just unnecessary what we're doing to ourselves. But
it is because we create our own suffering. Creative, like no, it's no, we create it because it took me forever to understand this and really grasp this knowledge of this is challenges are inevitable. We are going to have challenges. We're going to have these unexpected things that show up in our life, but they're all for our growth. They're all for our evolution. But the thing is, it's like this stuff, challenging times are going to happen. Suffering through them is optional. Suffering is how we perceive it to be. We think it should be different than what it is, and that's what creates the suffering, or we think that we're supposed to suffer. Like, I had this belief that I couldn't attract money in my life unless it was fucking hard. Because of what I was told growing up. I was stupid. I'd never amount to shit. And I can have money, but it's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So I got to go through shit just so I can actually have it.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest fucking thing.
It is so true.
And I'm like, well, that was dumb, Tony. And it's like, oh, I can't have a relationship unless I suffer, because it's just, and there's so many people who are going to be listening like, well, yeah. Or people are going to be like, I never thought of it before, but it's starting to resonate with them because now it's triggering that and they're ready for it to come up and now they can deal with it. But the reason we push all that stuff aside in our subconscious mind is because we don't want to deal with it. It's too painful.
Yeah.
And we're scared of dealing with it. Oh, shit, what's going to happen? I'm going to fucking die. I mean, I've had so many of that. Oh, I'm going to die. Even to the point, like, I hesitate to do all this fun stuff because if I have too much fun, I'm going to die. And something traumatic happened in my lifetime that did. So I can only have so much fun and I'd sabotage the shit out of it. And we do that shit too, and that's stupid. And we can sit here and laugh about it. It's like, that was fucking dumb. But even the dumb shit, like you said, is for our good. It's here for us to evolve and grow if we do it. Or if not, it's going to continue to show up until we finally deal with it. Or eventually, universe, God, higher self, whatever you want to call it, is going to wake us up. Yeah, we have free will, but if there's something that we have that we decided when we came here, it's going to move us into that realm. And it can be, again, it can be painful or it can be not so painful. But suffering is absolutely optional.
Yeah.
We weren't meant to suffer ever.
Yeah, we do that to ourselves. And it's like, there's that, like, I mean, I'm sure you work with affirmations as well. Like, I'm a big fan of affirmations. And for that exact reason, like, two of my main affirmations is like, life always works for me and everything always works out for me. And if you really instill those two, like, you can only have a positive outlook on life. Like, there's no other way. But it's the same with the money thing. I have had, and I still have blocks around money. That's for sure. But especially when we go into things like I have a full-time job at this point, which I love. I love my job. It's very meaningful. But I know that at some point in my life, I will definitely want to go into like self-employment and build my own business around what I do. And right away, there's that like, oh, but self-employment, that's hard. Like, it's so difficult to make sustained, like, good amounts of money when you're self-employed. And it's like, making money is difficult. And that stuff like popping up and you're like, no, go away. Money is easy. Money comes to me. Money loves me. It's like, and I love money. It's those affirmations. And I just like berate my brain with that then. And it's going to work.
Stories we buy into that says that it's hard because, like, oh, self-employment, sales is hard and you got to work hard. I'm like, no, those are stories we buy into. I said, because, and I had a mentor of mine share this with me one time. He goes, if there's one person out there that can prove what you're saying is incorrect or wrong, it's not true, right? That they're doing it differently than what you're saying, that they're actually proving that it can be done, then all you're holding on to is a belief. It's not a truth.
Exactly.
And so
I think like,
go ahead.
It's proven that there's tons of self-employed people that are very successful. So why should I not be one of those?
Yes. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that do not work a lot. I mean, they work less than 15 hours a week and they're making multiple six figures.
Yeah.
That's not hard. We're making it hard because of our stupid beliefs that we're holding on to, we buy into. But the thing is we beat ourselves up. Why am I holding on? And we beat ourselves up, which keeps us in that, which is dumb.
Yeah, it's like letting go.
Yeah, it's like, stop beating yourself up. Would you tell a friend, well, you're fucking dumb and stupid and you don't deserve this shit? Would you talk to a friend the same way you talk to yourself? Yeah. Hell no. They would leave you.
Yeah. Negative self-talk is such a massive thing. Like, we have that, our inner critic is just, I mean, that is something you really, one of the key things you have to master is kind of like how you actually talk to yourself. Because as you just said, we would never, ever talk to the people close to us that matter to us in the way that we talk to ourselves. I mean, the stuff that I've said to myself is just, it's brutal. Mm-hmm. But obviously, if I tell that myself, like I will believe that. That's part of my identity. So releasing that and stepping away from it, which is where meditation and mindfulness comes in, for example, being able to objectify like this inner critic and step away, distance myself from it. That's where for me lies the core benefit of mindfulness and meditation. And that's why I recommend it to anyone. Get a grip of your inner critic, and it'll completely change your personality, like your identity and your relationship to yourself. And that is the one you have to master. That's the one where you have to step into alignment with your relationship with yourself, not with anyone else, but yourself first, and then everything else will align anyways.
Because the outside world is a mirror, right? It's a mirror of who we are. So I love that you said, get your inner critic, and that, kind of, got something from this, because, when we're meditating, when we step back and we're that objective observer, right? Then we're like, who the fuck is saying that? Who is that guy? Or who's that girl? Who's saying that? Do we realize that sound we hear that sounds like us, not us? It's the egoic mind from all the beliefs and everything that's there. It's not us. Because if we could sit back and observe it, then we can't beat it. But so often we identify that's who we are. Well, I heard myself say that, so it's got to be what it is. Oh, that's just too. No. The ego keeps us separate. It creates this separateness of who we truly are. And it wants to, because that's how it lives. That's how it survives. And it's like, no, if you go over here, you're going to die. And the ego, which I used to be so pissed off in my ego. I'm like, I want to get rid of you altogether. But at the same time, it's actually been useful and helpful for my evolution.
Absolutely.
When I feel a fear come up, if I feel something there, it's like, okay, you're trying to protect me and keep me safe because you don't understand what's going on over here. But I have to be uncomfortable. And you said this earlier, you got to be uncomfortable to grow. But you get uncomfortable, you get used to it.
Yeah.
You're good. And then you get, okay, I'm going through another evolution. And it happens every time we push that envelope. But I don't like this way it makes me feel. People settle down. And I want to make it funny too. And because people like say, oh, I've tried that meditation thing before and it didn't work for me. I'm sure you probably.
Oh my God. Like if I would get like £1 for every single time someone has said that to me, no, meditation doesn't work for me. Well, you're not just like, of course, if you're telling yourself it's not going to work for you, it's not going to work for you. You have to let go of that resistance.
But it's their expectation of how they think meditation is going to be by things they've heard or seen out there.
Yeah. It's that like I tried for the first time and it's going to be, I'm going to be super zen. I'm not going to think of anything. Everything's going to be perfect. Now, this is not how that works. It's a process. You got to learn. And it's just like that perfectionism that comes in. It has to work and it has to work now. It's like,
I can't clear my mind. I don't ever clear my mind, and I've been doing it for a while. And there's times when I finally go to that in between space that I don't think anything, but there's people who are spiritual teachers, spiritual comedians that teach this stuff. And there's like, man, the first 20, 30 minutes is you're divorcing yourself. I heard Kyle Cease say that one time. He's like, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a stand-up comedian that went spiritual transformationist. And he's one of the people that I follow that I'm learning. He's mentoring me and doesn't know he's mentoring me. And it was part of his program too, but he was talking to me. He's like, for the first 30 minutes, you're like, hey, who are you? Who the fuck are you? Who's this guy? What's going on here? Hey, I got to get up and let the dog out. Well, I got to go to the bathroom. I mean, it's like, who are you in my head? But it's like, but for the first 20, 30 minutes, you're really divorcing from and like breaking up with the stuff from the day before or earlier that day, depending on when you're doing your meditation. So you got to learn to sit there and observe it when you finally, there's a thought there and you finally let it go, but you're the observer. And you're able to do that, but it's like people say, I've tried that before and it didn't work. Well, the more separated you are, that's the mind keeping you from your ego, keeping you from really doing it, because it knows that when you go into that and you do it for a while, that you're going it's going to die, and it knows death is imminent, and that you're going to start moving towards your true self, and it doesn't want to do that because it's trying to survive. So it fears death. When the ego originally was designed to actually keep us from having imminent death from a freaking saber tooth or something. But now it's like most of these deaths that we think, I'm going to die. It's not really going to happen. It's the death to the ego. And going back to separateness and realizing we're all one because we're energetic and vibrational. But the funny, I went on a tangent there. I do that sometimes. Squirrel, I run around with it like a hamster in a wheel. But really, I was joking around. It's like people say that to me. It's like, oh, I tried that once and it didn't work, or I tried that for a week and still couldn't get there. And I'm like, it's like going to the gym and you go to work out
that you practice,
but you go to work out and say, well, I'm still overweight and I'm not buff. This fucking shit doesn't work. It's like, no, it doesn't. But it's the same thing. It's a muscle, a spiritual muscle, a mental muscle that you learn to do over time, and actually emotional, because the emotion's stored in the body. The body's going to trigger that stuff too. And that's the thing too, is that when you first start meditating, you'll start getting used to it. And then the body's going to start doing things like you're going to have an itch. You're going to have this pop up, and it's going to start going out of control more to try to get you to stop it. And I'm like, I go, that means it's working. Because you are already breaking away and you're actually combining the left and right brain at that moment. It's actually working. When it gets worse for a moment, it's actually working. It's like when you first work out, you are so sore as hell. Sometimes you can't even work out for the next week because every muscle in your body hurts for a while because you're breaking it down. And what does it do? What does the muscle do when you break it down? It tears a little bit. And over time, it rebuilds and rebuilds thicker and stronger. And this is where you start building the muscle. Same thing happens. And you go deeper. But the thing is once you start doing that and you start practicing the mindfulness and you start really getting into the mental realm and you start mastering your mind, right? Well, now the emotional stuff starts coming up because you're raising your energetic vibration, right? So all that lower negative vibrational trauma stories that we're held in are starting to come up. And people go, what the hell's going on now? And now you can deal with it. And now it's the tools you can to release that stuff, to heal it and let it go. And there's so many different tools that we can go on forever and ever that you have that I can use, the spiritual, non-spiritual, to help release that shit. And to really, and then move towards the scale of your true self. But it's imagine just being up in there going, who the hell is that speaking that? Well, then that can't be me. Because I've heard this many times. It's like we have a mind, we have a body, but we're a soul. Because if you can observe your thoughts, then it's not you.
Yeah.
It's something different. That means you are more, you are greater, even if you don't believe spiritually, but you are greater than your mind. But the people who are going to be listening to this and the people who listen to you, even on your scale of it, is they're somewhere seeking more.
That's true. Yeah. And
they're going to, well, maybe, and they may resist it, and that's fine. People are probably going to get pissed off that I was just making fun of them for saying that they tried the meditation thing, which is fine because I want to trigger people, but not in a place of, I'm potentially trying to piss you off or whatever, which I'm not pissing you off. You're allowing yourself to be pissed off. But I want to trigger you in the sense that, good, I want you to be uncomfortable because it's planting the seed. What you do with it at that moment is not my business. But it's my job to share my truths that are going to allow those who are ready. And some are going to feel triggered and then move forward. Some are going to get triggered and then be pissed off. And it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And that's shedding that people-pleasing, which has taken me a year to really start mastering it. And I'm still not all the way there, but I'm getting there. And this is what's really uncomfortable as I share more of these truths and these spiritual truths as a spiritual teacher and a spiritual comedian, is that I'm doing that. And I know it's going to trigger some people. I'm like, I'm going to be rejected. Well, we are. As we evolve and grow, people are going to reject, because all it means is they're not ready for it. And they're not ready, or nor do they want. And it's making them so uncomfortable because that means they have to do something now. That's all it is. And it usually starts in our family as we're evolving, and they get all pissy. And then finally we're like, nope. And then they realize that they lost control of us, and they either start changing or they separate themselves. It just happens that way. And I know you've experienced that. Am I correct in that? You probably experienced that in your own life.
I think everyone has, like, in some way, shape, or form, something in their family that needs healing. That's for sure. I mean, if you only look at things like generational trauma, if you think about, like, obviously me coming from Germany, like, what happened in Germany, so you can imagine.
What happened?
I don't know.
Something in history. I didn't pay attention that day. What?
So it's just like, and also from one side of my family, there is a Jewish background. So there is
Oh,
like,
wow.
there is like a lot of like my grandparents, like on the German side, because I'm half French, half German. They were fully in World War II, like on both sides involved, and not in the, thank God, not in the bad way. But it's like, if you look at that, like generationally, how it's normal that trauma gets passed down in different ways. And then obviously every parent has their belief system that they pass on to you. And I think so in my family, I think me and my sister, we're both quite spiritually aligned, and keep growing into that. Um, but we're the only ones, what, at least that's what I see at the moment, that develop into that direction. Really, I'm sure that the other members of my family have their own way of connecting to something higher. Um, and but yeah, so if you grow into that direction, like obviously people start to question you and like don't really understand. Um, and this is like really something where I had to let go as well, and really see, okay, like I'm doing me and you do you, and that's okay. And that has healed my relationship with a lot of members of my family massively. um, which is one of the things, like, for I've been moving around a lot in the past years. I kind of lost touch and connection to my family. um, and now I've been back home for a couple of months most of the time, and it enabled me to really, like, enabled us to get to know each other again and kind of connect again. And it was, oh God, I'm so grateful for that. Like now I'm so connected to my family as like I haven't, I think, ever. Like it's the best I've ever had with every single member of my family, and that's just beautiful. um and so yeah, I think with family it obviously can be tricky sometimes, because you want to help and you want to make them see and everything. But it's not my job, so I'm just going to do me, and I'm going to develop how I feel is best for me. And if they pick something up that they like, that's amazing, obviously. But if not, that's fine. Okay. Like, I'm not going to force anyone into a specific direction. Like I said, I have my path, they have their path, and maybe at some point they will cross and maybe not. And that's okay. They're still my family. I love them with all my heart, and that will never change. But by seeing in myself, by me changing my perception, um, I've healed a lot in my family for myself. And that's the only thing that matters to me, my relationship to them, that it's a healthy and supportive one. And that's what it is. And I'm so grateful for that. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I love that, because that's one of the things that I talk about with the whole laughing through life. It's about breaking those cycles, which some of that is the generational cycles. And about being able to laugh through life, because when you can break those cycles, you start healing. Now you're able to laugh more because you're finding that happiness from within, that peace within, that confidence and power within. And you don't need it from the outside, and you're able to do that and not take life so serious. And I love that, because you said, it's okay. Allow them to be who they are, because you can find peace and start living. Stop sacrificing yourself, because we don't have to sacrifice, and you're not supposed to sacrifice, but be true to who you are, because that's what creates so much disconnect when we're trying to be everything to everybody else and enabling, and, well, it's because it's family, so I have to be here. I have to do. No, you don't. You don't. I mean, we said that at the beginning before we even started recording. You don't have to do that, but it's about breaking those cycles, because when you break the cycles, when you started breaking the cycle, when your sister started breaking these cycles, it actually breaks the cycles for future generations.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's also because there's energy in that, right? And those you're around, you are breaking the timelines and the cycles generations past too. You're going back several generations because it's healing it. So
Yeah.
as you're doing it, you are healing, even by not saying anything, your family members, your current family members. It's healing them. Like, by me living what I'm doing is healing my dad, is healing my brother, without saying a word. Now they resist it still, but they've also had some growth, and that's okay. I don't have to be attached to it. but I'm living it, and they see this going, what the hell is he doing? How is he? I'm like, I'm no longer living in these past cycles of how things should be. Well, we got to go back to here. You hear it day in, day out. It's like, oh, when we need to go back to parenting the way we did. No, we don't. That's how we got all fucked up in the first place. So it's like, no, like we got to go back to spanking and this and that. I'm like, no, fear-based parenting, fear-based anything does not work. I'm like, it creates more of the same cycles. And this is why we have so many physical ailments that run in the family. Oh, depression runs in the family. Diabetes runs in the heart disease runs in the family. I'm like, there's a reason it runs in the family, because the same cycles and behaviors are passed on. Yeah. And that's why you're living in the same state of disconnect and disease. Dis-ease means disconnected from source, which we're never fully disconnected, because we can't be, because we can put a damn good kink in it, maybe a knot in it, because some of us try to put knots and sailors knots and all that other shit in there. But it's breaking cycles. And I'm so passionate about breaking cycles. And that just hits home with me, because I've had generations and generations of anger in my family. And that anger has created hardness, because the whole heart is so closed off. That's what creates that. And I'm watching my dad slowly die and living in his own suffering and creating the stuff because he feels he needs to suffer.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's like a way of punishing themselves as well, right? Like, and that's the worst. I think that's the hardest thing to see. If someone close to you, independently if it's family or friends, if you can see that they are punishing themselves subconsciously for what they've done or not done, that's the worst, because it's like it just wants to make you just like, let me take that away from you. You don't have to do that to yourself.
But we can't.
We can't. No, but that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but when we try to, that creates suffering for us. And I did that with my dad. And I go, I have to detach because I can't do this anymore. And I even had a conversation with him one time. And I said, Dad, thank you. And he says, what? And my dad and I were never really that close. And I said, thank you for the way you raised me. He went into this defense mode at first. I said, nope, stop. I'm not here to bash you. Yeah. Dad, because of the way you raised me, I know now what not to do.
Yeah.
I'm the dad and man I am today, and I get to do what I did because you did what you did. And now that and this is before I start really doing this deeper spiritual work, and now I sit back and go, holy shit, the pain that is killing him, that he's still holding on to for 73 years, is the same shit he passed on to me that I broke, and he's still holding on to it.
Yeah.
That's painful. And I had to step back. And same thing with my brother. My brother's had like 3 or 4 heart attacks, and he's 48. First one at 41. So it's like, and they're like, oh, this is happening to you. No. I'm changing it. I'm changing how I show up for my daughter. I found purpose in my wife's death. And people are like, oh my, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm not. Don't be sorry for me. I'm like, I know that's all they know how to do it. But it's like, man, I found, and that purpose came in this last year. Yeah. My wife died actually to save me. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to, people are like, well, how do you, what? How? I'm like, she died to save me. She gave me a daughter, because had I had a son, I'd still be living this. She gave me a daughter because a daughter is more connected. She allowed me to say, okay, I'm done, because she's going to choose a guy like me someday, and I'm not going to be happy with that choice. I got work to do, but she taught me how to truly love and how to open my closed heart and how to heal that pain and walk through that. So she's seeing that I'm healing her. She still has stuff that comes up, and I got to remind her, I'm like, wait, that's who I used to be. Yeah. And so she walks, because you know what? She's got to deal with the journey that I still screwed up. Even though I'm fixing and healing a lot of things, I still caused her trauma, and she's got to walk through hers. But all of it, my dad doing what he did, your parents and your family doing what they did to you, and how it's going, is all for our good. And
absolutely.
It's amazing, but we get to break the cycles. Yeah. Like we decided before we even came here, we're going to come here, we're going to experience all this shit, and then we're going to break the cycles for future. And this is how we're raising the consciousness of the earth and the world and changing that through the world by changing our own, and it's going out and helping other people do the same thing.
Yeah. I think what's really important to keep in mind as well, obviously forgiveness is like a massive part in this whole discussion as well. And our parents or you as a parent, like you always do the best that you can with the resources that you have right now. So it's like, do you know what? Would I do differently with my children? Yes. Do I adapt some of the things that I thought were good? Of course. But we have that ability to kind of pick and choose. But only if we step back and kind of disconnect and really objectively see, okay, this works for me, this doesn't, this is okay. Like, I want to teach that to my child. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I know that there's often that I've had a good life. Let's put it that way. I have had a good life. I've had incredibly loving parents. My whole life I've been supported in everything I've done, and I'm very, very grateful for. I haven't experienced major trauma in my life so far, and I'm so grateful for that. So grateful. But of course, still there's stuff in my life that it has still been traumatic, like not in that big explosive way, but like in that little trickling kind of way. And it's again, it's about letting go. It's about forgiving. And again, this does not only apply to family. Like, it can be a friend, it can be a teacher. A lot of people have problems with teachers in school. One thing they got told in school, they carry that with them for the rest of their lives. Let go and forgive that person, not for their sake, but for your sake. Like, not forgiving someone is basically drinking poison in the hope that it kills your opponent, right? That's not how that works. Like, forgiveness is only creating negative emotion within you. It's not going to do anything for the other person if you not, like, if you keep holding on to that anger and resentment and sadness, and which are all natural emotions. That's not the point. But after a while, it's like, you always forgive someone else for your own sake, never for them. And so no matter how big the issues or the trauma are that you've had with your family, the sooner you can let go and forgive, the easier it will be for you to objectively see what you want to pass on to your children, the next generation, and break that cycle and heal. So forgiveness, I think, for me, is something I really wanted to mention in that context. It's so important. And a lot of people think like, oh, I'm not going to forgive that person because it was so horrendous what they did to me. It probably was. But forgiving is not about them. It's about you. And especially when we talk about giving stuff away to like the next generation, forgiveness is like, oh, so important.
And I want to go deeper in just a second with that, what you said. So yes, forgiveness is absolutely key. And I love that you said it, because I use that too. It's like, oh, here, I'm going to drink this poison and I want you to fucking die. I mean, it's like, no, you're drinking it, you're dying. Yeah. Because really what it is, by holding on to that, is a form of suicide. Holding on to all that anger, holding all that bitterness towards and resentment towards someone else, it's not killing them. And a lot of times they're already moved on and they let it go. Or there's things that we perceive, like you said, you had a great childhood, and I'm not denying that, right? But all of us still have some traumas with that, because we perceive certain things as happening. Like, I've worked with someone who was, she used to be a pastor, and then she grew up in a pastor's family. She said, oh, I had a great childhood. I said, something happened with your dad that's creating this. I said, because sometimes it's not that it was intentional.
Exactly. Yeah.
In some cases, it was intentional. You know, even my dad, being abusive as he was in the studies, I mean, that's the same shit that was said to him and done to him. I know he didn't want to do it, but he didn't know any better. Like, I have 4 kids, and
only do what they have in their toolbox, right? Like, I love that toolbox.
Do the best you can with what you have, and you said that.
Exactly.
And so, you know something better, then it's your responsibility to change it.
Absolutely.
But you can't hold. I'm like, and then, because I used to have all this shame and guilt, and you can't move forward with all shame and guilt of how you were, and you got it. It's like, okay, I did the best I could. Well, that's how it is. That means that it's okay for what they did. I'm like, no, I'm not saying what they did was okay. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Again, I can go back to that. I'm like, by you forgiving someone, I've had people say that too. It's like, well, if I forgive them, then that means what they did to me was okay. No, no, it doesn't. It's
Nothing to
not
do with that.
excusing. They did the best they can. When I say we're like, that means that it was okay for what they did. I go, no, it just means they're doing the best they can of what they did. It means you're not passing judgment onto them, because guess what? You do shit in your own life. So we're
Yeah.
not passing judgment, which all we're doing when we're passing judgment onto somebody is really, it's a judgment and we don't like about ourselves. Everything and every person that we're gossiping about and we're condemning or whatever is something we don't like about ourselves, period. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but that's the absolute truth. If we are being triggered, oh, this person pissed me off. No, it didn't. It's anger. It's something you don't like about yourself that you have not wanted to deal with, and you still don't, and you're still projecting it onto somebody else. So forgiveness is key. Absolutely. We need to forgive them for ourselves. It has nothing to do with them being good. We're freeing ourselves from the shackles, from the chains that are holding us down, that are killing us, right? But I want to go deeper than that, because I think the most important forgiveness we can do is for ourselves.
I was just about to go into that. Yes, exactly. It is just when you mentioned guilt and shame and like how we feel that for who we used to be. Oh God, so many people have such a hard time just like the whole topic of self-love, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. It is so key to you really moving forward in your life. As long as you, and this goes back into living in the now, for example, it's holding on to this past self and emotions and identity that we had back then. This is something, self-love is the cure for that. Like once you accept, okay, this is, I just, as our parents, our friends, whatever did when they might have hurt us, we might have hurt people. Like I'm sure I've hurt people massively in my life without having the intention to. Maybe at some point I've had the intention to hurt someone as well. Yeah, I mean, we all have our freakouts, right? But
because
it's like
we were hurt
still,
ourselves, and that's why we do it. We're hurt, so we
we're
hurt people.
giving, exactly. But it's just like learning to say to yourself, like, even if I've done something that is against my values, I still did the best that I could in that situation. And it's okay. I don't have to be that person anymore. Like I apologize to that person, I let go, and I'm better now. Like I consciously make the effort of being a better person now. But like, yeah, self-acceptance, like forgiving yourself, massively important.
You
Yeah.
have to forgive yourself. And I think, and I believe that you have to forgive yourself first before you can really forgive anybody else. Because if you can't, you can say you forgive someone, but if you're not forgiving yourself for holding on to all that, but holding on to all that stuff or being that way, I'm so sorry I put all that burden on you, Tony. I mean, I don't know how many times I've done that. When it comes up, like, I'm so sorry that I felt you held on to this belief that is creating this and this and this. That's not true of who you are. You know, I did the Ho'oponopono prayer. I've done other prayers that allow me to, like, I'm so sorry, just forgiving myself, because it's a full circle. It's like giving and receiving. There's so many people that give, but they can't receive. And actually, it's because they don't feel worthy of it. And then it's like the whole forgiveness thing. They don't want to self-love because they don't feel lovable. But the only way you're going to feel lovable is if you start forgiving yourself.
Self-worth is just like a whole nother topic. Like,
yeah, I know we can go on and on. Well, we'll probably have to have you back on again anyway. So, because we can go on forever. But
I think so too. Yeah.
Because this has been, I mean, we've already talked for like 20 something minutes before we even got on the dang on the call. True. So we can go on and forever. But it's like people who can give and give and give. It's because they lack self-worth and they're trying to find that from outside. And I had someone say, I tried to give them a compliment on something and say, thank you. They're like, oh, no. And I finally said, will you stop? You are depriving me of my own joy by complimenting you. And he was like,
how is it so hard to take compliments sometimes? Like it was I had to really like work on being able to accept compliments. It's so
healing those parts of us didn't feel worthy of it.
Yeah, it's just insane, like how we deprive ourselves, as you just said, not only deprive that person of the joy of being able to do something nice and say something nice to us. It's like it's that automatically, it's again that self-critic coming in like, oh, that person must have it like intention with saying that. That can't be true. Why would that person say something like that? And it's that just being able to say, thank you so much. That's so kind to say.
Without
You know?
anything, or depriving ourselves, because I've been guilty of that. Someone say something, I'm like, yeah, but, and I would always
Yeah.
find some negative thing about me that's still not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but, oh, Tony, you're such a great dad. Yeah, but, Tony, you're something. Yeah, but. I mean, it was like, stop butting on yourself and just let it go. Because, and now I can sit here and say, you know, I'm a great dad. I've worked hard to get here. I'm a great fucking dad. I own that shit. I mean, I can sit here and I'm like, I have worked hard to get here. I'm like, I am. Am I perfect? Fuck no, I'm not perfect. And I never will be. I let go of that shit too. But it's, and I yelled at this guy. Well, I didn't really yell at him. I just gave him, I mean, I laid into him a little bit, not yelled at him, but I was like, will you stop robbing me my own joy because you don't feel worthy of my compliment? And he was like, holy shit. He goes, and I go, and I'm only doing that because I love you, dude. And I used to be this guy. Like, you want to give. I'm like, you can't fully give if you can't receive. You can't fully love if you don't love yourself. You cannot love another person if you don't love yourself. That's why for 6 years now, it'll be 6 years in June or July that I've been single. That I've been completely working on myself. Yeah. We have to fully realize that we are whole and complete. And that a relationship is not to get into a relationship to complete you.
Yes.
To fulfill something that you feel lacking inside, because you are not lacking anything inside. Yeah. You may feel that way because you feel disconnected, but when you get connected to your true source, you know that you're whole and complete. And the whole idea of a marriage or a relationship is to enhance your life. When you are triggered, it's to help you grow, not project that shit onto the other person or say, hey, fucker, you're supposed to fulfill this in me because I can't do it myself. And because you didn't, you're an ass. I mean, it's it's the same. I mean, we joke around about that, but
yeah, I don't remember who said that to me, but like someone once said, there's only two kinds of relationships that work. One, where the insecurities match perfectly, and so one fulfills each other's insecurities, or where there are no insecurities and everyone considers themselves whole, like you just said. And I know it's such a cliche saying, but that saying of you cannot be happy with someone else if you're not happy with yourself, it is so true. It is so true. And now, for example, for me, like I'm 27 now, and I can say for the first time in my life, I am so happy to be by myself. I'm so happy to be single. Like, I'm happy to have that time to focus on myself, prioritize myself, work on myself, because I know that then I will actually be able to have someone in my life who knows my worth because I know mine, who loves me for who I am because I love myself for who I am, who helps me grow because I will constantly work on my growth. And like vice versa, it's that. And it's such a blessing to realize that, because in the past, like being single was like such a bad thing. There's such a bad kind of social attachment like to being single, and it's a good thing. It's time that you can use completely for yourself to step into a relationship that is whole, that is more whole than the last one. And it's just,
yes,
I'm loving
every relationship helps us, and I love that you single. And it's and I do too. Now, do I get lonely at times? Of course I do. I mean, it's been almost 6 years, and that's the longest but I also know that I still have some healing. I'm pushing some stuff. I'm still rejecting some stuff, but I'm aware of it. It's just a matter of working through it and allowing it to be ready. But they have to be on a certain path. Otherwise, it's not going to help me. It's going to hinder me more than it's helping me in my purpose. And it's two whole people have their own purposes and move, and they're enhancing it, and they're cheering each other on and allowing that to happen. But you said something about the whole stigma of, why are you single? What's wrong with you? I mean, that's how it is, because because it's the conditioning of the whole, you can't be alone because they got to complete you. And if there's something wrong with you, because that's your other half. And no, I am whole and I am complete.
Yes.
And it's like, you almost want to say, why are you married? I mean, it's like, Don't ask me that stupid shit like I have like 5 eyeballs or I have leprosy. I mean, it's because I know how to love myself now.
Yeah.
And I always tell people when they get out of a relationship, like, stay single for a while, not find you, remember you. Because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're lost. No one's lost. You just got so disconnected from who you truly are that you don't remember who you are. And what it is about going in and remembering who you are and then showing up in that way and saying, no, this is what I desire. This is what I want. And therefore, I'm going to have that. And so I desire that. And I'm not going to settle for anything less than I desire and I deserve. Yeah. And that goes for not only love relationships, but for your finances, for your business, for whatever it is that you're trying to. Every dream you have, we are hardwired to desire and create. It's not wicked to desire, but as we start growing, evolve, our desire starts evolving and being more in line with our true self. And that's where it comes when, it's more in line with God, more in line with the universe. That's where it is, because you're aligning both of those in the same sense. However someone believes, it could still work that way, just however you believe, just reword it to make it fit that piece. But it's really owning that love of who you are and stay single. It's okay. And you know what? It's okay to feel lonely sometimes too. You're human. Yeah. But you'll be okay. Absolutely. You know what? I was 40 when I finally started figuring it out. You're 27, man. You figured it out a little faster than I did, just a little bit. Which is awesome.
I've worked hard.
But I needed more. I wanted to experience more of the shit before I figured it out. That's all.
That's fine. That's fine.
And don't
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm still, and I think for the rest of my life, my past insecurities, they will always still like come up every now and then. Like, although I can truly say now I'm enjoying being by myself, some guy doesn't respond for whatever reason, it's still like, oh my God, like, why am I not worthy of this? Like, it'll still pop up every now and then, and it's completely normal. But it's that thing of like being, oh, okay, I hear what is coming up, but I know that's not the case. Like, I can detach myself and I can let it go again. And that is a lifelong practice, right?
Yes. So they're here. Those are designed, our insecurities, whatever you want to, inadequacies, what feeling inadequate and all that. It's designed to help us evolve. The problem lies is when we get attacked. Oh shit! Something's wrong with me. I'm not worthy.
It's when we make our identity. That's the problem. That goes back to our ego and everything. It's like whatever. I said that on Noel's podcast, I think, as well. It's that like, whatever follows I am, that's your identity. So I am beautiful, or I am healthy, or I am intelligent. Good things to say to yourself.
Yes.
I am not worthy. I am unlovable. I am not beautiful. It's those, like, it goes back to your self-critic, like that inner voice. But it's really, that is something we need to be so cautious with, because that's what we repeatedly tell ourselves, and that's going to create our identity. And we get so attached to our identity,
our egoic identity. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like when someone is trying to mess with that identity in a positive or in a negative way, that's when we feel that kind of that discomfort, but that then tells us, oh, okay, I'm too attached. Like, what can I learn from this? And I think then back to like the challenges and how we perceive challenges, all it teaches us is kind of like, okay, what do I want in life? What do I not want in life? And again, that is, who do I want to be in life? Who do I not want to be in life? So it's really a constant kind of evaluation, and then evolution based on that evaluation, who we want to be, what we want our lives to be like, and acting upon what we decide. So yeah.
Yes, taking inspired action versus just acting out of fear, which most of us, because if we try to act and do things from a place of fear, it's not sustainable. It's always going to crash. But we act from a place of love, it's sustainable, because we're coming from that place of oneness of who we are, and really moving forward and evolving. So I love that you said the insecurities, because our insecurities, they're going to come up. It always is, but it's never the other person.
Absolutely.
It's always in us, and go, oh, it's me. So when someone, like, it's like, why isn't that girl responding back to me? What's going on? What's wrong with me? What the fuck did I do? I'm like, and I just go, stop it, Tony. Or I'll say, cut that shit out. What the hell? That has nothing to do with it. But even in relationships, that's what it's like. People think, oh, it's supposed to be all this. No, you're going to have challenges. Suffering, again, is optional, but it's designed to say, oh, I feel triggered by her or him. So therefore, what's going on? Instead of projecting it on them, you go, no, what can I learn about myself in this insecurity? So yes, it doesn't mean they're always going to go away, but we can turn it and master it and use it to continue our evolution and get closer to ourselves and more and more. So it's not like when you get into a relationship with a guy that you're not going to be triggered and shit's not going to happen. But it's like, okay, what am I learning in this moment? Not like when I get into a relationship with a woman that I'm going to be just freaking completely confident guy all the time. No, it's going to challenge the shit out of me. And I can say, ooh, it's not her though. I don't have to project it on her anymore. It's me. And if I do project it, because that's inevitable too, we are going to freak out occasionally, right? It's going to happen, but it's not going to be to the extent like I used to be, but I will get crabby. I'm going to do something stupid. I'm going to say something stupid, but immediately I'm going to be like, oops, sorry, that was my bad. And then, and because I do it with my daughter now. When I do, I'm like, you know what? But the cool thing is, as I do it, I catch it. I'm so aware now. I catch it pretty quickly and immediately go, or within a few minutes. Sometimes it's like, depending on the time, it's like, oh, if I'm dropping her off at school and it happens and I got to wait till after, or I do it before bed. And I'm like, you know what? I just realized that I acted this way and had nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me and something I need to heal. And I'm sorry, it had nothing. Me getting aggravated at you, me being crabby, me raising my voice at you. That was all me. It had nothing to do with you, and I'm sorry. I mean, that's the point. That's the evolution of that. And I had a client of mine who was talking. She's like, "Oh, I just yelled at my daughter and this and that." But then later on, I was able to apologize and this and that. And she goes, "And I want to get to the point where I don't do that." And I go, "You're so worried about not screwing up." I said, "It's not this not screwing up that is cool." I said, "The magic is in the screw up." And she said, "What?" I go, "The magic is in the screw up." I said, "Because what happened afterwards? You and your daughter had this moment together. And because of that, you were able to share how you felt and you're apologizing this, that. You guys became closer in that moment. So it's not it's not like when do we learn the most? When we go through some challenging, painful moments, right? But it's the same thing in a relationship. When we screw up, that's where we learn the most. But we get better and better and we evolve more and more where it's not as, we don't go for days being pissed off because we got pride and all this other shit's like, when I fucked up, my bad. I mean, literally sometimes it's like, as soon as I do it, seconds later, I'm like, shit, I'm sorry. And I bring myself back to center and I'm like, and again, I'm like, my bad, I fucked up. Sorry. But I own it fully and I explain why I did what I did. And my daughter will look at me like, well, Dad, that's dumb. And I go, I know it's dumb. It's my own inner shit coming out. But you triggered my inner shit because I felt this way. She goes, that's not going to happen. I know that. But my ego didn't at the moment. My ego still doesn't know it. I had to say, shut up. But that's another thing too, another layer of healing. When we say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. That was my own shit. We're bringing awareness to that shit at that moment. And it goes poof. We transmute that into love at that point. When we become aware of the insecurity and we step back and observe it, we're going, oh, at that moment, we're detached from it. It has no control of us anymore. Now, it may come up again and we may attach to it. I mean, because it's going to happen. But each time it gets less and less and we get more and more of our power back and we become more of who we truly are, which is this powerful love. We're able to do that. I love it. I love that. We can go on and on. And we've been here for a while.
Pick your daughter.
We're gonna have
your
to,
daughter already waiting at school. Like, where the hell is he?
No, I still got 45 minutes to get there, but we can go on forever. And I'm loving this conversation. I told you in the beginning, I'm like, man, I gotta have her on because of the energy, and I know we can play back. And you said some things. I'm like, oh yes. Then you reminded me of some things. I'm like, damn it.
But that's the beautiful thing. Like, I've finally gotten to the point where I'm putting myself out there a bit more, where I'm connecting more with people. And I've had like the most beautiful interactions that are so inspiring, like for both sides. And I know that this conversation will be inspiring to someone else, just like Noelle and my conversation was inspiring to you. And to some degree. And that's like, I
Yep.
don't care how many people I touch. If there's one person out there that takes something out of that conversation, like, I'm good. Then we've done our job. Like, because
Absolutely.
that's what we're good for, right?
And it could
So
be not the entire conversation, but one little piece, because that's
yeah,
what they needed to hear and feel at that
absolutely.
moment. That's what
Yeah,
they take. It could
yeah,
be the meditation piece in this one. It could be the forgiveness piece. It could be a whole list of things, but each person's going to find something different because they're somewhere different on their journey. But it's
yeah,
about honoring everybody's journey. There is no one right way. There is no
absolutely.
one right religion. There is no one non-religion. There is no one. Everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
Whether they say it's non-spiritual or not, everything is still connected in some way to spirituality. We already discussed that. But wherever you're at, it's about honoring people where they are. And that's one of the things that I'm still working through, because I still
Mm,
have a lot of that coming up, but I know it's me. And I go, ooh, and I'm like, I want to get to this place, because
yeah.
truly that's where it's at. Honoring people, because it's the ego trying to hold on to, no, I'm right, I got the truth. Well, that makes me no different than when I was in this religious dogma, or the same sense, or someone who's not. I'm like, all I am is a different level of that now. I mean, I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want to get to complete love and compassion,
Yeah,
because that's what's going to change the world, and allow
absolutely.
people to freaking laugh their asses off and have fun, even when their insecurities come up, and do that,
Yeah.
because that's what it's about. It's having fun, because I can literally have fun in just about anything that I'm doing. If I'm in a store, I'll have, ooh, that looks funny. And then I'm doing something most likely embarrassing my daughter. Uh, but I do it. I'm like, hey, and then I'm posting this stuff, and I'm like, and then she's doing some of this stuff. And then it's just laughing. And there's, even when stuff can be painful and I'm in the middle of something, working through and healing something, I still laugh every day. Sometimes it's a lot of laughter, and sometimes it's not a lot, but it doesn't matter. I'm laughing every single day. It does not last as long. And that's what I want to teach people. Because if I could be the light in the world to help people laugh more, do you realize how many less wars we would have? Because all
Yeah.
we're doing is having wars because people are fearful. That's
Yeah.
that's all it is. If people are happier and they're laughing more and they're having more fun and they're more fulfilled and they're having stronger relationships and we would have more peace. And I mean, it'd be a
Yeah.
funny ass world. I mean,
It would. And the thing is, like, if you think of laughter in general as well, laughter is something that is the same across all cultures. It's a universal language. So we all might laugh at different things. Like, I will never forget, like, moving to the UK. Before I moved to the UK, a friend of mine showed me a like a one of those talk showy kind of things, like game shows that is quite popular in the UK. And I was watching it, was like, this is really not funny. Like, why is he finding it so funny? But then I moved to the UK, and now I'm it's so hilarious to me. So it's, although what we laugh about might be different depending on the culture that that you're in, laughter in itself is still the same no matter where you are. And this is like one of the best ways for us to connect, no matter where you come from. And that comes back to, I mean, connection is like the core of everything we do, right? Like, we just want to be connected, we just want to be accepted. So using laughter as a tool to achieve that, I think, a, makes total sense from a scientific perspective as well.
there you go with your damn facts.
Yeah.
But yes, you're
gotta,
right.
gotta
You're correct.
yeah, we have to have some research in here. No, but just like, also, I mean, it makes you feel good, like it makes you feel connected. So we should laugh more. And I feel very blessed that I am a very frequent laugher as well. I have I have, like, my siblings always make fun of me because I literally laugh about the most stupid, silly things. And that's my role in our family. I am the one who laughs at all the jokes. So it's good for me, it's good for them. And it makes my life much, much easier,
Yes.
for sure. But yeah, so teaching or raising the awareness for the importance of laughter and bringing laughter to the world, I think, is a beautiful purpose.
And it's
Um,
like I'm the comedian in the family. So And it drives people nuts because I'm like, you never serious? Yeah, I mean, of course I'm not. No, I don't want to be serious. Like, but think about it. We're having a serious conversation for the last, 2 hours now, right? But we've been laughing through the whole thing. So it's a serious
Wow.
conversation, but you're having fun with it. Yeah.
Damn, that went quickly.
Yes.
Well, time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
Right?
But we were having a serious conversation,
Exactly.
but made it fun. You can take serious and have fun in it. You don't have to be, everybody's thinking it's got to be separate. No, it doesn't. And then we know, and I know you know this too, there's healing in laughter, but there's reverse aging in laughter.
Oh yeah.
Gosh,
Physically,
laugh so much.
physiologically, laughter it enhances your lifespan. It just makes you healthier. Everything becomes better when you laugh. Physically and psychologically.
I'm just saying right now I'm immortal because I laugh all the time. I'm never dying.
That's good.
Physically, yes, we die, but spiritually speaking, we do not die because we just go back into energy, whether you believe your soul or energy, because energy never ceases to exist, right? So we're all energy, but I'm never dying because I laugh all the damn time. And I've been laughing for pretty much 2 hours right now. So
you should sell that as a concept. Just make that your USP. Just be like, come to me and you will never die.
I'll laugh your way to living forever or some shit.
Damn. That would be one hell of a selling point if that works.
Come to me, come hear me. You will laugh and you'll never die. Laugh more, never die. That's
good tagline.
Laugh more, never die. Or laugh as you're dying. I don't know. but it's that having that fun piece because man, because all the the chemicals and the happy feel good hormones that get shot. I mean, that's what laughter does. But it also teaches people that even, and I've done this so many times. I did it over Christmas time, and I was in the dollar store here, and they were short on people, and the people were getting all, because people are just all pissy around the house. I mean, just two women are about to fight right there, and I'm just laughing about that because the whole reason of it was just like really foolish. So I'm just laughing, which broke it up because they're looking at me like, "What is this guy laughing?" Well, then the manager, because people are complaining to her because they only have one lane open, she's trying to close someone out. So she was stressed. So I walk up to her and she's getting done. She wasn't even looking at me yet. She's still trying to sign on to the computer. And I leaned in and I go, "So you having a great day?" And she goes, she looked at me like she wanted to kill me. She goes, "Oh, so you think you're a comedian?" And I go, "Actually, I am a comedian. Thank you." And then she just she started laughing. She goes, "Well, all right then." And she started laughing. Well, then she shared with me the whole week was going on. And I just had her laughing and smiling the whole time. And then at the end, she goes, "You know what? Thank you for the smile." And I said, "That's my gift. You're welcome." And then I left.
Aww,
but the reason that I'm sharing that piece of that is that even when we're stressed, even when we're sad, we still have control over that. And we can change and shift our state of being because we can laugh when we're sad. We can laugh when we're angry. We can laugh because just because you're in a state doesn't mean you're stuck there. You can't laugh because I've done it. I don't know how many times when I was doing actual individual coaching, when I was in that realm before I evolved, I would tell people that you're going to get angry, you're going to cry, and you're going to laugh. And sometimes you're going to do all three at the same time. And they look, they're like, "How the hell is that going to happen?" I go, "Watch me do my magic." And then inevitably they're like, "I hate you, you fucking asshole." And then they start crying, and then they're like crying, and then all of a sudden they start laughing, and I'm like, they're like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "It's my gift. I do all that, but you have control. You are not consumed by one emotion only. That's not who you are." I used to think that that's just who I was going to be, was an angry guy because I tried everything that I thought to get past it. Well, that's all I see. My family's angry. That means I'm angry. That's who I'm going to be. I tried everything. And here I am today. Rarely do I get angry. Rarely. And if I do, it doesn't last long because it's my own shit. And I usually don't lash out at someone when I'm angry. It's my own stuff. And I'm like, rarely does that happen. And I am fucking having fun and laughing all the time. And I'm like, this is what people need. And it's evolved into laughing through life and during the comedy. But making personal development not boring. Like people who are listening to this or watch this on YouTube, it's going to be funny. They're going to laugh too, but they're still learning. Or they're like, who the fuck is Tony and Natalie? Oh my gosh. Or as some people say, Nathalie. I think
Nathalie, exactly.
I think they had a little too much to drink, maybe. When they're saying that.
You know who always says that? It's when I sit in an Uber and the Uber voice reads out my name. The Uber voice says Nathalie instead of Natalie. And then
So
people
what
pick it
language
up.
are they speaking to you in, or
I
accent?
have no idea.
Because my GPS, I have it. It's Australian because I just love the accent.
Nice.
And then they say the names of the roads all different. I'm like, no, what? And I gotta look. I go, oh, it's this.
I have my navigation system on my phone in English, and it reads out the German streets like in an English accent. Like, it makes me laugh so much every time. Because these are two languages that do not go together. It's hilarious.
No.
I have no idea which road I need to take, but it makes me laugh. So
because you gotta look and go, oh, that's what they mean. I do that too. I'm like, oh, that's what she's meaning. Okay, gotcha, Susan.
Oh god, but it's those little things that you can actually like purposefully put in your day as well, that make you laugh. And that, for example, I need to make here a shout out to Instagram. Like, I know social media has a lot of negative effects, but the memes on there make me laugh so much. There's so much hilarious stuff on social media
Yes.
that I don't even regret scrolling through the pages for 1.5 hours because I'm laughing the whole time.
That's all that really matters. But it's also good because it's also spiritual in the sense that you can see like stuff you wouldn't have laughed at a year ago. But now you can like, oh, that's funny as shit now. And actually, it's even funnier because I used to be that person or whatever. And I can laugh even more now. And I mean, I laugh at some shit. And I'm like dying. I'm like, oh, my gosh. And then, of course, I laugh at myself because you have to learn to laugh at yourself. And someone sent me this meme of like Kermit the Frog with this oxygen mask on thing. And it had the meme. It says, myself after I laugh at my own jokes. And I'm like, that's me. And they're like, that's why I sent it to you, Tony. Because I'm like, oh, I need oxygen again. I'm laughing so hard.
At this point, like my sister and I were like constantly sending memes back and forth over Instagram, and it's just so funny because then like we send each other the same memes, or it's like, oh my god, I just saw that, I almost sent it to you.
Synchronicity. So it's a great way. Okay, you better start sending me stuff because I want to laugh at this now too. You're just gonna have to add me in there.
Good? The funniest memes I only recently discovered are the therapist and coach memes. It's like there's one meme, I think one of my favorite ever.
I don't think I've seen any of these memes.
What? Yeah. You need to just Google it. I'm going to send you the hashtags.
Yes, please do. I want to laugh at these.
There's one, I think the funniest, I've seen it so many times. I'm still finding it hilarious. You're like, do you know when sometimes one of your clients tells you something and you just resonate with it so much? And it might be something that you haven't really worked through yourself. And it's literally just like the tagline when your client has the same problem as you do. And like the guy, like just like cracking open the bottle of wine with a massive glass. And like, oh my God.
Like, oh, fuck.
It makes me laugh because it's that it resonates. It's like that situation where you're like, yeah, well, I would like to advise you on something here, but I really don't know.
I fucked up there too.
I think this might be completely funny too. Sorry to anyone who like doesn't appreciate memes, but for me, it's just quality.
Well, then that means that they need to work on appreciating memes because they got to learn to laugh. If you were here on this show laughing through life and you're not laughing, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
I think so. I think so too.
It's like, but the same thing too, and that kind of goes along with this is like when you're speaking some stuff too. It's like when I speak some of the things, all I'm doing is reminding myself of the stuff that I'm still working through. It's like, oh, I need to do that again. It's always like you're teaching me, and I hopefully I inspired you some on my end. Yeah. But then it's also as you're speaking, you're going, oh damn, deep inside you're going, I need to hear that again. And there's a lot that I said today going, shit. This is what I've been resisting for like freaking 2 months now. And I said it 5 times. Oh, that means I really need to hear it. But it's always there. And the people come into our lives at the right time, saying what they need to say. And then they come in your lives so they can be a mirror to you saying to them what they need. You go, fuck. That's, you're like, that's my shit. that's my shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So I want to come to a wrap up here, and I want to ask this question because I ask all my guests because it's in line with this, and I want your take on it. And when I first ask it, it's going to be like a loaded question, but then I'm going to help you narrow it down very quickly. So, what is one key to happiness in life? First thing that comes to mind.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Because for me, that is where it all starts. You cannot make any profound, sustainable, long-term changes in your life without being aware of of the beliefs within yourself, your belief system, your perception. What is your ego speaking? When is your true self speaking? So I think for me, self-awareness.
I love that. And actually, you just inspired the title to this episode. That's my creativity going
Nice.
Going to town. So just for everybody listening to this, and I'm starting to do this more and more. I love this. The title of this is How to Create Lasting Happiness Through Self-Awareness. That's what just came to me.
I like it. Yes, I think that's we've spoken a lot about self-awareness actually throughout this conversation. So yeah, it's true. Yeah.
When people ask, how the hell are you laughing and happy all the time? It's lasting happiness because it's self-awareness and healing the shit that keeps me from not being happy and laughing. And then I can laugh at the shit. And then I can laugh at myself when I act stupid. I mean, like when I can say, oh, I was a narcissist and I can laugh at that dumb shit, it's because I'm not attached to it anymore because I let that baggage go. I still have a big ass rope with baggage on there, but that's not there anymore. Yeah. It's the same thing. I love that though. How to create lasting happiness through self-awareness, because so many people lack this. Yeah. And sometimes, we're always growing in that, and we're evolving in that too. And I absolutely love that. Becoming self-aware to heal, to be happy. Yeah. That's really what
would be your response?
To self-awareness or to happiness? To lasting happiness?
Laughter.
Well, yeah, it's finding out who you truly are and living authentically in that.
Yeah.
Remembering who you are and living in integrity with that.
I like that. Yes.
Who you truly are, how you do that? Through self-awareness. But that's why I say, because what's one key? And it's like, holy shit, there's so many things you can go with. And that's why I always say, first thing that comes to mind, and that's what we're going through. And I love it because first thing comes to mind, everybody's different. Everyone I've had on so far doing this, it's like, man, this is awesome. But that usually inspires how I'm going to title the whole conversation, because I can literally go through this conversation and go, ooh, that'd be good. Ooh, that'd be good. Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah. But then I feel the energy behind it, and I go, this is it. Yesterday's
of the conversation, so it's perfect.
Yeah, and yesterday's was really cool, but he gave me like 3 different things that I could use, and I'm like, nope, I got to figure out how to use all of it. And I think I came up with it today to use that. So super. I mean, I can't even talk. You actually have me lost words right now, which is not easy. How powerful and how awesome this conversation, how I greatly enjoyed and honored that you were on here, because, man, technology is great. Here I am building an amazing relationship with someone who's across the world in Germany. And it was amazing conversation here. And I hope we continue that. And I would love to because we can obviously continue on forever. I don't know if people would have to come back like 3 or 4 times to finish listening to it or watching it, but it's a great.
I think as we evolve, the conversations will evolve. So it's always good to have like let's reconnect. Like, I don't know. Months we'll be at completely different points in our lives again. How fun would that be?
We'll have to reconvene, because I'm going to be in a different spot. Even 6 months from now, it's going to be different. Even both of us are going to be in different. I mean, a month from now, it's going to be different. But yes, definitely want to continue on, because there's so much that we can share. And then as we grow, we can share more truths from that place.
Yeah.
I think it'll be awesome. So one thing, and I will have this in the show notes. I will have this, whether it's on YouTube or if you're watching it, or if you're listening to it on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, I will have all this on how to reach out to Nathalie on how to connect with her. If you want to learn more about her coaching, her practice, and how she holistically helps people, I'll have that. But the one place you can really connect with her now, as she's going through rebranding, which is amazing, is through Instagram, which is, Live It Balanced, right?
Yeah,
Live It
right
Balanced.
now it is.
Exactly. Right now.
Right.
I can have, but you can even search up by your name, even as you rebrand for those, and you can tell me and I can update it as well. So I can go back in and update it for those who go back and listen to it later on, or they can just go by, Nathalie Timmerman, which I'll have all that in the show notes so you can get in there.
Amazing.
But absolutely honored that you were on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
It was fun. We laughed a lot.
We did. That was the purpose, right?
Yes. I think I need to go and relax.
Stretch out those here.
Yes, hold on. Give myself a facelift. My jaws are hurting, exactly. But that's a good thing. I'd rather laugh and have sore muscles and sore jaws than be frowning and be unhappy. So, absolutely. Super glad that you were on here. I really do. I'm not stopping recording just yet. I'll edit this out if I need to, but this is okay. You were my longest conversation so far.
Yay. How long did you? Wait, just 1 second. Hi. Huh? I'm not on the internet. No, really. Ich bin nicht am Wi-Fi. Okay. My brother says hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, brother.
He says he's good. It's like we have a thing in this house, like out of some reason, our Wi-Fi isn't very strong. So if I'm doing like a video call and he wants to play his video games, it doesn't work. So he's like, can I take the Wi-Fi out? But I've already attached, like I've already gone off the Wi-Fi. I'm just using my normal data. Because I know this would happen.
Like, no, you can't be on there, bro. That's awesome. But there was one thing I got to do, and I've been doing this. I don't know if you went on my Instagram, but I always have these crazy selfies like the Tony selfie. I'm like all the time. So one thing I started doing with that is taking a selfie with my guests on the computer, doing the same damn thing. Okay. So we're going to do that real quick so I can do it because I got to make sure that I use that as a promotion too. So just a heads up when I say she was talking about how to create lasting happiness through self-awareness, wait for this episode to drop. And then I can do all the editing. Which yours will be out the first week of February is how I'm having this. Cool. I haven't got to the point where I'm doing more than one a week because it's a lot of.
Do you know what though? I don't think I actually think it's a good thing. It can be quite overwhelming. Like I can see like Noel how he does so many of them.
Yes.
And like drops like one every day almost. It's like it's almost too much. Like nobody will listen to all of them. So I think it's probably better to have one a week
or at least 2 weeks. But I'm actually dividing. So I'm going to have because I'm doing these comedy skits too. That, like I told you about. So I will create the audio from that and use that as a second podcast because those are only maybe like 2-3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes at the top. Yeah. But it's going to be a second one once I get in the swing of this new thing of doing it. But let me get in here and get closer. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. It's still funny. Why is it not? Come on. I don't know why it's being dumb. Hold on a minute. Can't work. Technology now. Usually you can. That's working. Okay. Let me get in here now. Let's see if I get
Ready?
There you are. Perfect.
But it was so funny earlier because I can hear him come up, my brother, I could hear him come up the stairs and like standing behind me. And it was like, I was trying so hard to not get distracted. I was like, I know he's listening for like the past 5 minutes and not interrupting.
Did he hear what I said? Oh, shoot. Did he hear it? Am I going to be accepted? What's your brother's name?
Mathieu. So Matthew.
Matthew.
Matthew. Yeah, the French version of Matthew.
How do you pronounce that?
Mathieu.
Mathieu?
Mathieu. So it's Mathieu.
So Mathieu.
Mathieu. Yes. Yeah.
Mathieu. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm putting English American, but I'm trying to. My daughter took exploration of world languages, so she's did a little dabbling in German, did a little dabbling in French and Spanish, and she says, "Holy crap, French is so damn hard, Dad."
It is hard. It is.
And she goes, "German could be," but she's like, "Oh, you know how to say this in German?" I go, "No, I only know Spanish or a little bit of Italian, but no, I don't know." And she's like speaking, and I'm like French. I go, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, this word here." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, they should change that word because it sounds inappropriate."
Yeah, German, but it's quite cool. Like if you like French, Italian, Spanish are super similar. Like
yes.
if you get one, then you can kind of get the other two. German is very different. And it's really hard to learn as well. Well, I've been told that it's hard. Well, actually, like now that I've been gone for a while, like my English is better than my German at this point.
Really?
Especially when talking about the coaching kind of stuff, because I've learned and taught everything in English so far. It was a real struggle to kind of translate that stuff into German.
Wow.
And it's because all my life for the past 3 years was in English, and now it's still like I live in Germany again, but like my work, my friends, it's all in English. So I'm now at the stage where my brain is kind of getting around using both languages simultaneously. Like at the beginning, it was actually German, and every second or third word was English. Like I was just filling in with English words because I couldn't remember the German anymore.
So you had an identity crisis. It's like, whoa, what? But
it's funny though. It's funny because like I really do think like, so I'm half French, half German, and fluent in English. Every language gives me a different kind of personality and identity. It's really interesting. Kind of in English, I can be fully confident in like the whole self-development and coaching stuff. I can't be in German because I don't have the vocabulary. So I'm more professional in English than I am in German, for example. French is like more fun and kind of more that French, right? Like the spontaneous stuff, basically. Yes. So it's really interesting, like how different languages bring out different parts of you. So that's the cool thing about having multiple languages. So.
Wow. Yeah, because I took 2 years when I was in college of Italian, and of course I didn't remember half of it now. But my dad's Italian. He knew a lot of the language, but he kept saying he couldn't remember until I actually was getting ready to go to class. And he says, "Oh, ask your teacher this." And I go, "I thought you didn't remember it." "Oh, it's coming back to me." I'm like, "You liar." I'm like, because he spent 3 years in Italy when he was in the Navy and spent time with family. Then my great grandma, she spoke it because she came over from Italy. So did my great grandpa. I didn't know my great grandpa, but I knew my great grandma, and she would speak. But my dad knows the Sicilian dialect of Italian, which is it's a little different than formal Italian when you learn the language. My dad goes, "No, this is how you say that." I go, "Dad, this is proper Italian." Okay, I got my freaking pinky out over here. And I'm like, "This is proper." But people are like, "Oh, do you know?" And I said, "Man, I only really remember the cuss words. That's all I mainly. And I could do a lot of the numbers. I could still do some things. But now I got Googled. I can go, I want to remember how to say this." Like now a thing like my daughter and I, when she goes to bed, so she'll say, "I love you, night night," and I'll say, "I love you too, night night," and then she says it in Italian, and then I say it back to her in Italian. So that's kind of how, but I had to go and look that up to remember how to put it all together. And I'm like, "Oh," and she goes, "Ti amo notte notte," and I said, "Ti amo anche la notte notte," and that's how we do it. It's like, oh, and so we do. So we say it in both, which is really cool because I'm trying to. We want to go, and I want to go and explore. I already said that I want to explore the hell out of the world. So
I really hope you do. I'm sure I'll know.
Yes, and if we're in Germany and you're in Germany, maybe we can connect for a moment, depending on where I'm at. Yeah. Or if you're in in the UK and we go over there, then hey, where you at?
Well, if you're going in October, you said you want to go to Paris in October, right?
Yes.
So in October, I should be back in London. So if you go to London, like, let me know.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like, I love that. Like, I love being able to kind of connect with like so many different people across the world. But how cool, like if you can like meet in person as well. I think that's cool.
That'd be fun because I love meeting new people from all over the world because I got exposed to that when I was in the military. And I'm like, man, I love it. I love meeting and learning about them and learning their cultures.
So much,
because it's so different. You hear so much with the stupid media over here. I don't know how your media is over there, but our media is just like trying to paint fear and, of course, taking stuff out of context and saying shit that's not all do. And it's like, I don't even listen to that. And I'm like, no, that's not true because I've experienced people in other nations like, oh, my friends over here are scared. I'm like, it's because of their belief system and they're watching the same shit. I'm like, most people I don't think are that way. I'm like, you're going to have extremists. Like you have hate groups here in the U.S. I'm like, you have extremists on all levels. Doesn't mean that's the majority of people. And I love cultures. I love learning the history. I love learning the foods. Even if I don't like some of it, I still try it. But I learn new things.
Yeah.
And I want to like you all in Europe don't have the gluten issues we have here because you don't allow the shit going into the food as we do here. You're like, nope, we ain't allow that shit in here, but we have issues over here, but we can go over and eat the same stuff over there and be fine. I mean, it's interesting, but I love the culture. I love there's so much history over there. I mean, I want to go all over. I want to China. I want to go to Sweden. I mean, I'm just Netherlands. I need to see. This is why I got to live forever. I got to go all over.
That's true. I think you have some stuff to do. Like you need a few more years.
And I want to build my business in such a way that a lot of it I could be doing like events and seminars overseas and having these transformative comedian, but I get to write off, or it ends up paying for me to go over because I'm doing that. But I can be on a beach. I could be somewhere else and be in a castle in Ireland or Germany and freaking do a call and do something like that and then go on and do about my day. I mean, it's just that's
the beauty. That's a luxury we have right now. It's like it's never been easier to connect from wherever you are.
I know, and technology has been amazing.
How stupid, like as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection or like an internet connection, you're good. You can run a business. How amazing is that? And how dumb would we be not to use it? So
a lot of people are because they're so stuck. And I'm like, no, I want to build I have my vision, which I got to update it still. I haven't done it yet. I wish you think I would have being in January, but I haven't got to that point. It's like, I got to get to that point. But because I've rearranged, I'm still trying to figure things out. But I'm like, okay, I'm going over here. But I'm like, I designed this way where I am all over the world. I am not working that much, but I'm making really good money by helping other people and serving other people. But I'm making a lot, multiple six figures by helping other people. But the thing is I'm not charging a lot. I already have designed like this program, this membership thing that I'm doing, $29 a month. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
And why? And I got this from somebody else, like Kyle Cease, who's a spiritual comedian. He's like, I could charge high. And I had all these marketers saying you're stupid if you don't charge these high dollars. And he goes, why? I want to sell out the room.
Yeah.
If I can help more people by charging less, I'm still going to make a ton of money.
Yeah. That's
but
true.
Helping. So if it's $29, I'm like, my goal for this year is by December is to have 1,000 active members in this community. That's like 100 people a month getting in this group. Yeah. That's $29,000 a month.
That's good. I think that's a good
start. But I'm like, that's like $29,000 a month, and but it's serving and then having these big events. And I'm like, I already saw this happening, envisioning having a sold out room of 3,000 people and not charging that much either for those tickets. Like you see some of these $500, $1,500, $900, and I'm like, I don't even see it that, because if I can have 3,000 people in a room and I'm charging $150 for a ticket, people will do that, and you can sell out a damn room. Yeah, I can make a lot more with less, but no, if I'm doing more of those, I'll be set, and I can travel all over the damn world and do what I want to do, and then write it all off. What are you talking about?
No, that's cool, and I think that's why I am so grateful that I can be in that space like now, because it's exactly that. Like we are able to touch so many more people, even just through Instagram, for example. I mean, I only started being active recently, but I know that like you touch people and you get that feedback, and it's just like being able to share that for free. Like I don't even like, I'll be completely honest, like I'm not going to get stuck in the 6 figures. I'm going to go up to the 7 figures. I've decided that for sure.
Oh, I want to be there too, and it's going to happen.
Yeah. Stop mentioning the 6. Go to the 7.
Well,
like,
I'm just saying,
listen, right?
for that 6 figures, but combining everything that I'll be doing, it'll push me into the 7 figures. Because if I'm doing these events several times a year, and I'm doing this, and see, because think about it, I'm not just stopping at 1,000 people and being in this membership group. It's going to grow.
No.
So that alone will be like a residual. Because if I have, 4,000 people in this active members in here, that could be $1 million a year right there. Not alone, because I'm not just going to stop at having 3,000 people in a room. I'm going to have, I can, this is one dream I have is 3,000. That's where I'm starting. I can literally see being in an auditorium with 50,000 people. Just laughing,
nice,
and just 50,000 people charging 190, 150, 195 bucks. That is a lot.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I think that might be 7 figures all by itself.
Yeah. I'm not good at maths, so I'm not going to make a statement.
Yeah, so if I charged 150 bucks a ticket and had 50,000 in a room, that's $7.5 million for one event.
Well, I think that's okay. I think that's.
I think I'll be all right. Good. If I did 4 of those a year, okay.
I think you're good. Yeah, I really hope it works out for you. I really do.
So, I mean, but you don't have to charge a lot. I'm getting away from the stupid marketing that you got to charge high dollar and you're going to have this. No. If I could keep it less and reach more people, $7.5 million.
It's good.
Is significant. So even like if I had 2,000 in my active group, right, at 29 bucks, that's 58,000 a month. So that's just like residual income, and I can do the rest of my stuff to do what I need to do. And all that is having conversations with people and putting videos together. I mean, that's literally how I've been trying to figure this out for a while. It's like, how do I get paid to talk and do videos? Trying to figure out, like, how do I do that? Because that's the funnest part for me. I'm like, I love having conversations. That's why we've been on here for two and a half hours now, which now I do have to get ready to leave to go get my daughter before I'm late. You see, that's like, if I had 2,000 people in my group, that's like almost $700,000 a month right there. I mean, a year. Just that's the residual piece. So anyway, we can go on and on.
Be good. Everything is always working out for us.
Right. And I can't wait to see you at 7 figures doing this.
Thank you.
Because guess what? It doesn't have to be hard. Being an entrepreneur doesn't have to be hard. Making money doesn't have to be hard. It flows to you.
Easy. Making money is easy.
It is.
It actually
sometimes, like affirmations, it's hard. Like if you don't believe the affirmation, it won't come true. But if you just shift the words on that, like I'm willing to believe that making money is easy. That's moving you in that direction. Then I believe that now. Now you can shift that. I mean, because this is why affirmations don't work. You just got to make it just a little bit. It's still positive.
Yeah. It's just teaching. It's like, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with like Abraham, right?
I knew when you were just getting ready to say it, I was like, I think she's going to talk about Abraham.
Because
next best thought or next best feeling.
That. It's just the next best emotion. It doesn't have to be from anger to love and joy. It's just the next best emotion.
Because it's not possible to go from anger to joy and stay there. You can have moments of joy, but it may not be that case. It's like, what's the next best feeling? Feel that. And that's the level of consciousness, right? That's the level of consciousness. Like, Abraham, she channels like the whole collective, like, but I think she goes into a trance where she's not really where I don't want that. I want to be able to channel and learn myself and experience the whole thing. And I think that's exactly how I'm going to be channeling when
Yeah.
it starts happening, which I'm already doing some of that, but
Yeah.
not on a,
Great. I can't wait to see that.
yeah. And you're going to do it. I can't wait to see how you've evolved and how you've moved from the professional realm into fully manifesting this great business that you're running and helping people holistically. And you really find that groove, and you continue to evolve and go deeper and deeper. Just don't get too set on a title or whatever, because then you'll get frustrated like I did. Damn it, I thought I was here. Why you keep doing this? Which is all for my evolution. I had to see what I didn't want to know where I was going.
Yeah.
So.
I think I found what I'm happy about is like, I found my new brand that was important to me. Like I found my new name because I love the Live It Balanced name and brand, but it just doesn't fit anymore. It's too soft. So I found my new name. Yesterday I bought the new domain, so I'm very excited.
What is it?
It's gonna
Can you announce it yet?
The Instagram is just going to be Anchor _ Coaching. And the website is anchor-yourself.com. So it's going to be the whole, I'm a water person, so I knew, and I love water as a metaphor. It stands for so much. So I knew that was going to be a theme.
Grounded, solid.
Exactly.
Powerful.
And I have an anchor tattooed already for years. And I was talking to my dad, and I had written it down in my notebook, but I had kind of like dismissed it. And he was like, why don't you do something around anchor? And I was like, yes, anchor, that's the metaphor. It's perfect. So
I love it.
It's going to be around an anchor and just anchoring yourself in your now, in yourself, in your vision. It's such a powerful metaphor, and I think it fits really well. So yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll
I can't wait to see more and see how that evolves. But now I do have to go because I will be late to get my daughter.
Please go. I don't want to make you late. Thank you so much. I didn't think it was going to happen,
but it freaking did, because we just connected and here we are talking forever. I told you I like to talk. Damn it.
Well, you're not alone, right? I mean, I did my fair share of talking as well.
Yes, we did. 2.5 hours-ish. Maybe a little longer. I don't know, but it's close enough.
All right, go. I don't want you to be late. It was lovely.
Have a good night. And it was
you too.
Absolute honor. I can't wait to do more.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Bye-bye.